first don't succeed, try again.
And all new Family Plots tonight at 9 on A&E.
A feel-good sitcom with a surrogate family. The Facts of Life tackled adolescent angst and controversial issues.
I went into the office and said, pick me. Someone's gotta get laid.
One of the longest-running series ever, the show's young stars spent their painful teenage years in the spotlight.
I wanted to give up and go home and just be a normal little girl in Texas. This was just too hard.
The Facts of Life. It was the end of the 1970s. Disco was on its way out, while the opulent 80s and the me generation were on their way in. And on television, sitcoms still ruled. ABC was at the top of the heap with reliables like Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley, and Three's Company. CBS was hitting the ratings bullseye with MASH, One Day at a Time, and Alice. Only NBC was down on its luck, relying on its one successful sitcom, Norman Lear's Different Strokes. A pioneer of consciousness-raising realistic television, Lear was the mastermind behind the smash hits All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Maude, and Good Times.
Norman Lear, at the height of his power and influence, was really somebody who brought a lot of social issues into television.
Norman wanted to put a message into television, and he didn't like fluff.
The messages that he was sending out through shows like All in the Family and Maude and then Different Strokes was one of tolerance.
At NBC, the only message that mattered was ratings.
NBC was one of 3 networks. There were only 3 back then. And CBS and ABC had monster comedy schedules. And over at NBC, there was Different Strokes and Hello, Larry. And that was it. So NBC was not in the comedy game.
For NBC President Fred Silverman, this was no laughing matter.
Fred Silverman, who was running NBC, knew that that was the key to success. You must have a comedy presence on your schedule.
Norman Lear's production company was asked to work its magic. The first step was to usher in one of Lear's favorite leading ladies to help save the day.
I had done the Ed Sullivan shows. I had done the Jackie Gleason show. I had done the Colgate Comedy Hour, which Norman Lear produced and wrote. Norman Lear was very big stuff, so I found myself doing everything from Good Times to All in the Family. I played a Tupperware lady.
Recognizing a good thing when he saw it, Lear had offered Ray a showcase in Different Strokes.
I got a call to come in to find out about a series with 2 little boys, and they needed a house mother. I had a contract with CBS, and I didn't think they'd let me out. So I called Norman Lear, and I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he said, CBS owes me a few favors. I bet you I can get you out of that. I bet you a nickel.
Lear's faith in Charlotte Ray paid off. As the jovial housekeeper, Mrs. Garrett, she helped make Different Strokes a huge hit.
She was an instant smash. And at the time, Brandon Tartikoff and Fred Silverman, when they saw the success of Different Strokes and saw that Charlotte Ray was getting the attention of an audience, they said, quickly spin her out, because they needed another show.
We were going along, and the show was getting wonderful ratings. And then one day they went like this, and I thought, oh God, am I being canned? And they said, now look, Fred Silverman wants to spin you off.
The plan was to mock up a girls' version of Welcome Back, Kotter, a diverse group of teenagers with a wise and understanding mentor. Dubbed The Facts of Life, the show would be set at an all-girls boarding school where Mrs. Garrett served as house mother.
She made a deal to be able to get back to Different Strokes If this new show weren't to work, she had an automatic contract that would stay right with Different Strokes.
This house mother thing isn't permanently temporary, is it?
Oh, no, I'll be back. I promise.
Good, because we've been having a rough time.
Yeah?
Ever since you left, everything's upside down and topsy-turvy. I think I've been wearing Arnold's underwear.
Well, that'll keep you on your toes.
The risks of tampering with a hit show weren't taken lightly, and neither was the pressure that was being placed on Charlotte Ray's shoulders.
NBC was desperate. NBC had so few assets that everyone at NBC was hoping and praying that Facts of Life could be a show.
A motley young crew would be enrolled at the Eastland School for Girls. The first actress to be cast, Felice Schachter, had auditioned for the role of Kimberly on Different Strokes, but that part went to Dana Plato. This time around, she was set to play the impressionable Nancy. 16-year-old Texas native Lisa Whelchel auditioned for the role of the affluent Blair Warner and landed the part. The former Mouseketeer couldn't believe her luck.
The role of Blair was originally going to be a fast-talking, naive girl from Texas. So they called me, and I read for the part and read it that way, but there was one line in the script that I read rather condescendingly while looking down at the rump of the girl next to me.
Yes, whoever said it was lonely at the top was looking up from the bottom.
When I got the part and I showed up for the first day of rehearsal, they had totally rewritten the entire character around that one line reading. So I guess I'm to blame for Blair's less than stellar personality.
Real-life private school student Mindy Cohen had never acted at all, but she was perfect for the role of Natalie.
I went with them to a girls' school to interview them, to find out what they wanted. And there was one little girl there who was so adorable. She would go,
well, I don't know, it just seems like she has this cute little voice and little dimples.
I was just one of the random kids that was picked to go talk to these people. And we had lunch and we chatted.
I said, let's read her for the show and call her Natalie.
The next day, the headmaster called me into his office and he said, these people want to write a part for you in the show they're doing. And I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, as long as I'm not in trouble, terrific.
Kim Fields, an 11-year-old actress who had appeared on Good Times, was slated for the part of Tootie Ramsey, avid roller skater and resident gossip monger.
It was obvious from the beginning Kim Fields' adorability and her talent.
She had an ability to be a little smart-ass even at that age, and it came off quite innocent.
Sure, see, we is the first person plural pronoun. Me and Nat are a we, and we are going with you.
She was the first person to come over to me and she says, hi, my name is Kim and I'm gonna play Tootie Ramsey and we're gonna be best friends. And, you know, but seriously, like I remember just going, thank God.
The rest of the company included newcomers Julianne Haddock, Julie Piekarski, and future Brat Pack star Molly Ringwald. With its cast of chipper new faces, the show still had a serious responsibility to help lift NBC out of its ratings slump.
Were they confident that it would work? No. I would say there was not a great deal of confidence it would work, but there was a tremendous amount of hope. There was prayer.
Could a new team of novice actors and an unconventional leading lady save an entire network? The Facts of Life premiered in 1979, a year filled with accounts of 3 Mile Island, the Iran hostage crisis, and Mother Teresa being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. When the school bell officially rang in August, Mrs. Garrett's new gang guest starred on a special episode of Different Strokes. When their own show premiered 3 weeks later, The Facts of Life went up against the hits Fantasy Island and The Incredible Hulk. While NBC power brokers sat with their fingers crossed, the show's young stars were getting hip to the inner workings of Hollywood.
I I remember my first lines, and the most hysterical, and please remember that I'm 13 and very sheltered, okay, and overprotected. Love my parents, but, you know, very overprotected. My first line was, the teacher says,
"Some of you are about to burgeon into womanhood."
I thought all of us were virgins.
All of a sudden, I got the joke, and I started laughing as the cameras are rolling. And Kim rolled up to me and said, okay, don't laugh. That's like, just don't laugh. Oh, okay.
I don't know that any of us really were into the craft that much. So we just kind of got up there and did our characters and then went off camera and giggled.
Kim made me feel like, look, just because you didn't do a Pampers commercial when you were 3 still means you belong here.
I was so naive. I didn't even know what a pilot was. I didn't know that it's really just a test, and if it goes, then you get a series.
Those first 4 weeks are kind of, you know, a drug-induced vacation without the drugs.
The Facts of Life's first episode was called Roughhousing, but it went way beyond horseplay.
The very first Facts of Life in the summer of '79 was about a 13-year-old girl who was roughhousing with her roommate and got worried that she might like girls.
Cindy, what's wrong with you? What do you mean? All this touching and hugging girls, and I love you. Boy, are you strange.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together about the first episode till later either. I just figured she was making fun of her because she was kind of tomboyish and Blair wasn't.
It was clear that she was questioning her sexuality.
You know me, I'm always hugging and all that junk. I gotta stop that.
Don't you dare. Up here at the school, these girls are your family. There's nothing wrong with hugging and touching. It shows that you're a loving person, and that's good.
It was a very comforting message for kids who were on the verge of learning what their orientation was.
Despite the attempt to mix substance with comedy, the show barely made a ripple. Critics either loathed it or ignored it.
House mother at a girls' school? Why, that's a natural. If the Facts of Life makes it, I wouldn't be surprised if we get 3 of them. Perish the thought, although as you saw, Charlotte Ray's pretty good at what she does, but the facts of life are that she is all there is to this show.
Facts of Life is the kind of show that TV critics hate because they think it's bland. You know, they can't look beyond the fact that, you know, it wasn't superlative writing, it wasn't necessarily, you know, the greatest acting in the world.
At the end of the show's first season, it was in 74th place. But NBC had sunk so low in the ratings that it couldn't afford a new ship. Instead, the network opted to overhaul the one they had.
In the beginning, Mrs. Garrett had quite a large brood of girls. You're trying to service 10, 12 girls in this show. Pick 4. Forget everybody else. Get rid of them.
Letting several of the young actresses go wasn't a decision that anyone was taking lightly.
There were just too many of them. I mean, it lacked focus. And I had nothing to do with the weeding out of who was to stay and who was to go. Thank God I didn't have to do that.
Guess what, Mrs. Garrett? Cindy's gonna run against Blair for Harvest Queen.
And so the exodus began. Felice Schachter, the first actress to join the cast, was also the first let go.
Oh, that's a cinch.
Julie Piekarski was voted off next. Molly Ringwald was also shown the door.
Molly, like, goodbye. She didn't make the cut.
Woman against woman? Well, since you put it that way.
Julianne Haddock was the last to face expulsion.
On one hand, you're like, I was picked to stay, and on the other hand, you're like, where'd everybody go?
Ultimately, it was a really, really smart call because the writers had to learn who these characters were, and that was probably the most fundamental decision that led to the success of the show.
Only Mrs. Garrett, Tootie, Natalie, and Blair would remain. The inner circle was formed, but it needed a bit more of an edge to help round it out.
We decided to add somebody. Brandon Tartikoff said, look at a Hallmark commercial, and on that commercial was a 14 or 15-year-old girl who I got tears in my eyes watching her.
You never said this to me before.
Hey, what a card can say for you.
Daddy, I'm gonna keep this forever.
Hey, what a Hallmark card can do.
That was Nancy Mckeon, and we called her Faucet Face because she cried at the drop of a hat, and she made the audience really be affected.
Long Island native Nancy Mckeon had followed Big Brother Philip around the set of Alice and was no stranger to the sitcom scene.
We screen tested Nancy Mckeon, and it was possibly as exciting a screen test as I've ever had.
Nancy Mckeon was fantastic. She was just unbelievable.
Her tough-talking Joe was reminiscent of Arthur Fonzarelli. Equipped with a leather jacket and a fast bike, Joe had a hard head and a soft heart.
Is this why I'm supposed to check in?
She arrived looking very butch for 14, and probably the crush of a lot of boys and probably a lot of girls at that time.
I don't believe this. You don't? I was gonna ask him to the fall dance.
Joe's high energy was just what the show needed.
When Joe came into the show, a new and powerful and terribly important dynamic was created. First and foremost, the conflict between Lisa and Nancy was fabulous.
Blair Warner. Charmed. Gloria Vanderbilt.
I think Nancy made the difference in the show. The year that she came on, and Lisa had somebody to really bounce off of.
Well, I'm just so thankful that they brought the character Joe on, not only as a foil for Blair, because it really did make the characters much more colorful in contrast.
As the put-downs flew, the pampered Blair and the streetwise Joe helped provide the show's humor and its dramatic tension.
My Jordashes are your Jordashes. Oh, thanks. You mean you don't mind me taking them in?
The show's cast appeared to have found the perfect fit. With the dorm rooms filled, it was time to give the writing a better grade.
I think in the world of television, to bring in a female writing team that would be literally running the show was probably very unique at the time.
Margie Peters had earned her reputation writing for One Day at a Time. This time around, she and partner Linda Marsh weren't thrilled by their new job offer.
We really didn't want to take the job because we really were not fond of the show, the way the girls were being portrayed. There were no real people on the show. There were characters, but there were no real people. And they agreed with us, and we took the job.
They felt that they had the pulse for what was honest. They gave great integrity to the characters, and they made it entertaining.
I was impressed as to the writer's ability as adults to get the sound of a teenager in regards to these topics.
We didn't think about them as TV characters. We thought about them as living, breathing people.
New and improved, The Facts of Life would be a shot in the arm for NBC and introduce a revolutionary new character to primetime TV. The Facts of Life had weathered its growing pains. The show's ratings reflected marked improvement, while the individual characters were finally coming into their own.
Norman Lear's talent was to know every character and know that no character could say the line of another character.
Kim's character changed quite a bit. The first season, she was a caricature.
Mrs. Garrett, come quick! The pig is loose on the bus!
She would be in the house with roller skates. Well, who in their right mind lets their child in the house on roller skates? This is absurd.
Very tacky.
We got great conflict with Blair. I'm better than you are. Created wonderful conflict with the girls.
Tonight you're gonna get your first lesson in hot wiring.
If you really look at Jo, she is the warmest, the most caring, the one character to go outside of her comfort zone for her friends, more than anybody else.
Boy, there's some cute guys in there. Send out the leftovers.
Natalie was your average person. She was sort of your observer, your every person. She went into life so enthusiastically, so wholeheartedly.
Facts of Life had differentiation, even though they were all bubbly young women. But they were different bubbly young women.
I think the stereotypes or the roles that each of them played were broad enough so that anybody could probably see themselves or your friends, you know, in Joe, Natalie, Tootie, or Blair.
And at the core was still Mrs. Garrett.
Thank you.
Charlotte Rae was the backbone, the spine of Facts of Life. She was mom and dad.
She was a lot of glue, and it was emotional glue, and I said she was artless and artful. You didn't know what she did, but she did it.
She was capable of rising up and being not a wonderful sidebar character, but being a lead. And that's a big deal.
With one of the first shows to feature an all-female cast, the Facts of Life's creators hoped to win the attentions of a female audience.
The majority of the audience, women, but there were some men in there. There were some men who were checking out Blair and checking out Joe.
What do you mean, what do you think? Girls related it. Boys loved it too, because the girls were so adorable.
I think boys would watch for the girls, and girls would watch for the lessons.
And as the lessons continued, controversial topics became part of the routine.
You had Facts of Life stories about everything from, you know, book burning to teen pregnancy.
Obviously drugs, you know, these were the Reagan years.
We talked about pot, and we talked about, you know, suicide, and we talked about sex.
Death.
We offed the girl in the second act. It can't get more serious than that.
Divorce, kiddie porn, prostitution, premarital sex.
Dieting improperly and getting ill.
They stole the van and went into a bar and tried to get beer. That was pretty racy for those times, and definitely for an 8:30 time slot.
In its own quiet way, the show was actually breaking new ground.
I think the writers correctly said, we need to reflect what's going on in the world around us. We need to reflect what really is happening.
Real life was a blueprint for the writers' work. Keeping the characters believable added to the challenge.
May I help you?
I'm looking for Blair Warner.
You must be her cousin Jerry.
A very different character was set to be integrated into the show. Blair's cousin, Jerry, was bright, upbeat, and always quick with a joke.
See, I had this made. It says I don't have cerebral palsy, I'm drunk. You know it cost me 20 cents a letter? Would have been a lot cheaper if I had polio.
I was the first person with a disability ever, visible disability anyway, to be cast in a primetime series. It was never done before me. Not to mention that it was comedy. You never saw a person with a disability doing comedy.
She added substance to the show wherever she was. And of course, we played her off of Blair, who had to learn some lessons in vanity.
How was your... Can I get you one?
And I thought I talked funny.
I think she was an important character, and I think it's important to see people just relate to people that are different physically in just a relationship perspective.
Mrs. Garrett and her crew warmed the hearts of millions each week with their good humor and lighthearted charm. While the critics still cringed, the creative team knew just how influential their jobs could be.
I didn't care about the criticism. I knew that I had a big fat file of letters from girls around America saying, your suicide show kept me from doing it.
Huge amounts of mail, yeah, huge amounts. Would you be my friend mail? I think Nancy got tons of those. Tons and tons. Would you be my friend?
I don't know why people listen to celebrities. We are the last people you should listen to.
And Charlotte, would you be my mother? I mean, it was sort of sad. I mean, but it's the impact that television has.
It shaped a whole shift in attitude. Even people with disabilities across the country were writing letters saying how inspiring I was.
But despite the positive reinforcement from the fans, things were far from perfect for the young actresses on The Facts of Life. The Facts of Life had finally found its audience. But while Hot Topics were helping to heat up the ratings, the show's creative team knew how to keep their cool.
I think in the beginning, they really did try to hit these issues head on and tackle them and become an issue show. And I think that's great, but I'm also glad that they relaxed a little bit and just, it was a fun situation comedy as well.
Coming from the Norman Lear family, the show itself was kind of self-censoring. They had sort of learned their lesson with Maude's abortion, that there were certain areas that you just couldn't go beyond.
The show didn't preach. The show was a comedy. It was always very entertaining. But you walked away feeling like, you know what? I just really digested something here that was more than just a laugh.
While the good humor was spreading, viewers were becoming fast friends with the girls on The Facts of Life.
You know what was great that The Facts of Life portrayed really well, I think, is the friendships. You go through adolescence together, for Pete's sake. No one else can take that away from you. There's something very intense, especially with girls.
That warmth the cast had created was felt both on screen and off.
We used to hear, you know, the fights on the One Day at a Time set and the different stroke sets, but you know, what are you gonna do? We just didn't have that. We never had that, which, you know, for 4 girls on the same cycle is really something.
It's unusual to have a show that works so well and is such a nice set. I also was involved with Good Times for Norman, where you couldn't walk down on the set without walking into World War III.
We demanded that people not have ego trips, and we were a family, and everybody goes by first names, and the guy, you know, hanging the lights and behind the camera is just as important as what you do. It's a team effort.
The Facts of Life team was still winning, but the actresses themselves were nearly defeated by the everyday ordeals of growing up.
I think the girls had the hardest job in show business because they went through their adolescence in front of America.
There were weeks where it was painful, where you were, you know, having a really bad breakout, or you felt unattractive.
Nothing was secret. If someone had acne, it showed on camera. If somebody had a boyfriend and they broke up, it was in the Enquirer.
For me, what was hard was I was cast to play a certain character who looked a certain way, and it was important to the character. If she was going to be so vain, then she needed to have a reason to be so vain. And so when I went through those puberty years where I put on 20 pounds, that wasn't acceptable. That wasn't acceptable for my character. It wasn't acceptable for my job.
Not only were the young actresses forced to spend their painful adolescent years on center stage, now their weight was becoming a heavy issue.
There was a continual problem on Facts of Life. The girls gained and lost weight, driving certain producers crazy.
It was, I think, unnecessary cruelty, a lot of it from Joan Rivers at that point, you know, with her remark, I mean, the cliche joke of the fats of life.
Have some compassion for these girls. They're working their tails off. They're doing the best they can. Not everybody is model thin.
I think there's a couple episodes where I'm the thinnest of the bunch. I mean, go figure.
I wanted to give up and go home and just be a normal little girl in Texas. This was just too hard.
We ultimately, after whatever number of agonizing weeks it was, said, heck with it, that's what those are girls, and they're normal girls. And they were blissfully normal.
Unlike standard Hollywood practice, the show's producers were determined to maintain a level of normalcy on the set. Both the actresses and the characters they played were treated with a level of dignity unique to teens on television.
Looking back on it, you know, these girls at the time were much heavier than you would ever see any actress on television now. I mean, you look at something like Beverly Hills 90210, you know, another long-running teen show. I mean, all those girls were perfect. So for me, just seeing girls that looked like real girls was really important.
I don't know whether it was a conscious effort. There was never a fat joke, ever, in 9 seasons, about Natalie. She got kick-ass, she got really hot boyfriends, and she was one of the girls. There wasn't a line like, oh, I wish I fit into that. There was none of that, and I think that that lent itself to, she is who she is, she looks like what she looks like. Okay, we have to comment on it? No.
I know for me, I don't want my daughters watching a show and just aspiring to be perfect instead of just accepting themselves the way they are.
Self-acceptance may have been the most enduring message the show delivered. But while they were appearing as role models for real young women, the actresses themselves were hardly treated as royalty.
I don't think the girls were ever treated like big stars at NBC. I'll be very honest with you. Other shows, you know, like Who's the Boss and those other shows, they were giving them automobiles and things. The girls did not have their own chairs. I don't want to say that they were living in some sort of captivity, but they were not treated as stars. And yet the show was enormously successful. You know, eventually, no matter where they bounced it to, it found its audience.
But the girls could only attend boarding school for so long, and the producers scrambled to find ways to keep them under one roof.
Blair and Joe graduated and ended up living with Mrs. Garrett by choice because this was their family.
And so the action shifted from the dorm to Mrs. Garrett's new venture, a bakery called Edna's Edibles.
The bakery burns down eventually, electrical fire or something like that.
And so it was on to the next location.
So enter over our heads, where they sold things like lava lamps and inflatable palm trees and all manner of weird 80s pop culture stuff.
In between set changes, some new faces popped into the picture too.
We had amazing additions to our, it's one of the running jokes is, if you were a working actor in the 80s, you did an episode of Facts of Life.
Star power was provided by the likes of Ava Gabor, Dick Van Patten, Richard Dean Anderson, Helen Hunt, Juliette Lewis, and David Spade. The show even provided a vehicle for one of Hollywood's future mega movie stars.
We had George Clooney come on, and George Clooney had attitude, and he was a guy's guy, and, he mixed it up a bit.
We all had crushes on George. And what people forget is that, he was there for 2 seasons. He was there for 2 years.
He had an interesting relationship with the girls and the younger boy, Andy, that was on the show at that time. Now it strikes me as kind of strange. There's this older man hanging out with teenage girls and a 12-year-old kid, but hey.
If I had known he was going to turn out as well as he did, then I think I would have made an effort to wear makeup to rehearsal a little bit more often. I didn't care. I didn't take it seriously because he wasn't that fine back then. He was just a lot of fun.
It was just nice to have male energy around. All those girls. I gotta tell you, sometimes you just need some testosterone,
But an injection of testosterone wasn't a cure for old age. The biggest threat to the healthy run of a long-term series is lack of innovation. The Facts of Life ran the gamut of tricks to help ward off the malaise of a stale sitcom. There were overseas jaunts to Paris and Australia. A new young character was added when Mackenzie Aston arrived as errand boy Andy Moffat. Former rock stars attempted to drum up excitement when Jermaine Jackson and El DeBarge hit the scene. Even old-school idols such as Fabian and Bobby Rydell popped by to shake things up. It may have seemed contrived, but the show could still deliver a joke. Would the laugh track continue without the woman who had started it all? The Facts of Life had come a long way over the years, and the audience followed right along with it. Under Mrs. Garrett's guidance, Joe, Blair, Tootie, and Natalie went from wide-eyed schoolgirls to affable young adults. Having survived breakups and breakouts, exams and graduations, arguments and apologies, one thing always remained the same. These were the best of friends. There was one noticeable feature, however, that was constantly changing.
Well, my kids are now watching it, and they go, "Oh, Mom, what's with the hair?"
Questionable fashion trends aside, The Facts of Life was entering its 7th season.
Day after day, month after month. I liked it the later years. Most people prefer the shows in the beginning, but I like the later years because we got to do a lot more broad comedy.
the longer you're privileged to be on the air. You know, you get out of the box and you have more experiences.
In some ways, I think they should have stuck a little bit with the characters they laid out at the beginning of the show. Other fans that I've talked to think that that's kind of when the show sort of started to decline.
Inevitably, the show's ratings began to drop. Mrs. Garrett and her crew had been moved from Friday nights to Saturdays, matching wits with ratings winners like the Golden Girls and Hunter.
At a certain point, the audience tells you, hey, I think it's time, we're losing interest.
That fact was not lost on the writers, nor on Charlotte Rae herself.
Instead of going to Mrs. Garrett as a confidant, we'd go to each other. They wrote it that way. There wasn't really a need for an adult when you've got 4 adult girls living under the same roof, unless that adult role changed, and it didn't.
Girls, I've made up my mind. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna marry Bruce and go back into the Peace Corps.
The preceding year, she had kind of phased out a little bit, and the shows were focusing more on the 4 girls.
Sensing that her role was becoming obsolete, Charlotte Rae turned in her resignation.
It wasn't like, oh my God. It was sort of like, we get it. We get it, we love you.
For a lot of people, you know, when Mrs. Garrett left, that was the big turning point. It was a major character departing. And I guess when I was watching it, I kind of thought, uh-oh, you know, this might not be pretty.
Despite her departure, NBC felt the ratings were just steady enough to renew the show. Cloris Leachman was hired as her replacement and introduced as Mrs. Garrett's sister, Beverly Ann.
Cloris's character, Beverly Ann, was never the confidant, was never the house mother. She was just kind of, you know, the ringleader of the circus, which I think was brilliant on the writer's part, to not make her all of a sudden this authority figure. She just was taking over the store and was gonna, you know, rule the roost for a while until Mrs. Garrett got back.
When Cloris Leachman came in, and she's a totally different character, which I thought was really smart, and she brought a totally different dynamic. I just loved it. I loved those years.
I thought she was hilarious. I thought she's a great, you know, comedian, so I think that made up for the fact that it was a completely different character shift.
But the new character simply wasn't strong enough to save the show. The Facts of Life was ranked #1 in its time slot, but it was the lowest rated program in NBC's Saturday night lineup, hurting the more popular shows that followed. A desperate move was made in the show's final hour. One character would make a valiant effort to save the day, and to do so, she'd have to go all the way.
We had a meeting beforehand, before the season began, and they said, you know, we can't really have a show called The Facts of Life and not deal with that issue. So this season we're going to have Blair lose her virginity.
There was a big deal. Lisa didn't want to do it. She didn't want to participate.
I asked to be totally written out of that show.
I went into the office and said, pick me. Someone's got to get laid.
Lisa Whelchel so strongly opposed the idea that she opted out of that show altogether. Out of 209 episodes, it would be the only one in which she wouldn't appear.
I respect and validate Lisa's religious beliefs, but in my world and my friend's world, I was like the oldest living virgin on that show. And I do think it brings into question, you know, not paying attention to something is maybe just as bad as paying too much attention to it.
Attention was definitely paid. When the episode finally aired, a disclaimer cautioned that it wasn't intended for all audiences. Millions tuned in to watch Natalie's deflowering, making it the highest-rated single episode during the original run of the series.
This is what all broadcasters remember. Did we do well in the ratings? And the answer to that is yes, we did really well.
Even sensational plot lines couldn't save the show. When it went off the air in 1988, The Facts of Life had enjoyed one of the longest runs of any primetime series to date. It's still one of the longest-running programs in television history.
The thing that I'm pleased about Facts of Life is that they didn't get long in the tooth, they grew up.
Blair became a lawyer, Joe became a social worker, Natalie, of course, was a writer, and Tootie was an actress. And then the last episode, Blair was going to buy the school, and that was just for spin-off fodder. Well, I don't think she could ever pull off Mrs. Garrett.
What roof could we keep them under together? You know, this, what, the Facts of Life commune?
After nurturing the show for almost a decade, NBC turned its attention to hot new comedies like The Cosby Show and Cheers.
You know, our show would never have lasted in the 70s and would never have lasted in the 90s.
The 80s was a crazy time, you know, the go-go 80s, and, you know, I guess it's remembered for money and power and Reagan, but the audience was still hungry for characters that stood for something and meant something and touched their lives.
Fred Silverman is the reason we stayed on at NBC. Warren Littlefield is the reason we stayed on NBC, because he liked it. And it wasn't one of the top-rated shows. There were a lot of people who made very personal decisions that I don't think executives are allowed to make anymore, or necessarily want to take the risk.
The facts of the actresses' real lives fell right into place. Kim Fields went on to attend college, produce and direct for television, and eventually star in another popular series, Living Single. She most recently appeared in the Apollo Theater's staging of the Vagina Monologues. Nancy Mckeon has continued to act on television, currently starring in The Division. Mindy Cohn also attended college and continues to act.
I just finished an independent movie, and I'm actually the biggest, feather in my cap right now is I'm the voice of Velma on Scooby-Doo.
In 1988, just after the show went off the air, Lisa Whelchel married Stephen Cobble, a minister. She now focuses on her children and her religious writings. Charlotte Rae has chosen her projects carefully over the years, focusing on her first love, the theater. And Mrs. Garrett remains a big part of her life.
Today, to this day, there are girls and boys, men and women, in their late 20s, early 30s who say, we grew up with you, we love you. They could identify. It's wonderful. It's just absolutely wonderful.
For a show that enjoyed a record 9-year run, The Facts of Life never gained critical acclaim or gave rise to a breakout star. The secret to its appeal was a pinch of morality and a big dose of lighthearted humor.
I don't like to think of the show as an issue show. I think first and foremost it was funny. Funny based on truth is funnier.
I think the characters were identifiable. I think the characters were people. I think their dilemmas were real-life dilemmas. I think all of those things kept the show on the air for a long time.
After 20 years, people still, gosh, what's your character doing? Very sweet, very endearing.
Facts of Life was a pure delight in the conception and the execution and everybody involved in it.
Those are once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and they were fun. We had a lot of fun. And it was the 80s. Like, how can you not have fun in the 80s?
I remember reading a quote, something to the effect of, the loves you discover as a child are the ones that last a lifetime. And I think that's one of the reasons why The Facts of Life is so popular. And those relationships really do last a lifetime.
This is the Biography Channel.
You want to be yourself, but you're not allowed to be yourself.
This is the Biography Channel.
I was just beside myself with anger and disappointment.
This is the Biography Channel.
I'm the only actress he knows you have to pay to keep your clothes on.
Reality meets personality, only on the Biography Channel.
Biography Channel. What a concept!